This is the Better Together podcast, taking a stand against the stigma surrounding mental health. This is a place where we come together and have conversations with health advocates, athletes, professionals, stay-at-home moms and dads, and more. The podcast that gives you a voice and a community of support. You are not alone. Now, here are your hosts, Luis Perez and Kyle Robinson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Better Together podcast. And today is a really, really cool episode because we have Karen. And Karen has been part of the Be Defiant movement since the beginning of it. So it's really cool that we have one of the OGs of the Be Defiant, and obviously Kyle's with us as well, co-hosting with me every single episode. So we're really happy to have you on board. Thank you so much for being here, Karen.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So give us a little bit of intro on you as an overall person. Like, can you give us a little bit of a background on kind of how you got into the fitness world, like a little bit of a background on you as a person?
Yeah, that sounds good. So I'm Karen, obviously, and yeah, I came into fitness quite late in life. I'd say I'm 32 now, but in school I hated any form of exercise. I would actively try and hide during PE lessons and hated everything that we had to do because it was just not what I enjoyed doing. And then after forced PE and forced physical education stopped, I didn't do anything until I was about 23 years old. And that was only because I was putting weight on. So I started going for runs, got into running quite heavily, did a lot of 5Ks, half marathons, 10Ks, that kind of thing. And then I started doing obstacle course races. So Tough Mudder, Spartan Race. There's one in the UK called Total Warrior, which was amazing. And through that, I then found CrossFit, which I've done for the last 6 years now. So I got really into CrossFit, and that's what I still enjoy doing now. On and off, I had quite a bit of time off during lockdown, as I think most people did, especially with gyms being closed. But I'm now back on the CrossFit train. So that's kind of my journey with fitness. I was never into it at school, never into it younger, but now it's just part of what I do every day.
That's funny because that's kind of the same scenario with me. I always wanted to, but I was never, ever in the mental or physical shape to do it. And it was the worst. I tried to do anything to escape it. It was tough, which is another cool thing of how we choose our end goal. We choose what we want to do with our life, and we're so fortunate that you did decide to do that, because now you're here talking to us about your journey, and it's so helpful because it helps so many other people listen to stories and understand. Because I've seen a lot of your Instagram posts, and you lift a lot, so you do some good lifting. You obviously, in some of the previous posts you have when you did the mud runs and the obstacle course racing and all that. So you can see that, yeah, Karen's a very active person. A lot of people would think she's always been this way, and it's just not the truth. Yeah, so it's really cool to see that. Absolutely.
Interestingly, though, the part that Karen has missed out here is that Karen was very competitive in CrossFit, especially at the Rainhill Trials.
Yeah, I've competed at Rainhill Trials 8 times now. I've won one category. I've got through to the final, I think, in 5 other events. And I did go through a really, really competitive phase where I wanted to be on the more elite level of being an athlete. And I was getting closer to being there. And then I sprained my ankle really badly 4 years ago. So I stopped training for 6 weeks. And then from then, my life just kind of changed. I bought my own house. I came out of a 6.5-year relationship, which sucked. And then got into another relationship quite quickly, which then turned into an abusive relationship. And that just changed everything. And I never quite got back to that level. But I do enjoy CrossFit now. Before, I felt I had to do it because I was reaching for a certain level, whereas now I just enjoy doing it, and I still enjoy going to the competitions, but I'm not as competitive as I used to be.
Right.
Which I just go to have fun now and meet people like Kyle.
And dance.
And dance. I
Karen
dance
is
a
very,
lot.
Nice.
very well known for having a boogie whilst judging on the competition floor.
And whilst competing on a competition floor at the last Rain Hill, everyone went on a run and I just started dancing halfway around the run, just going for it. So yeah, I have a lot more fun with it now than I did. So
Nice. So how is that? Well, first of all, give us what is, for us that are on the other side of the pond, what is the Rain Hill Games? What is that about?
So it started from a box in Manchester, and they've basically made a competition that's grown exponentially over the last, I think they've been going about 7 years. So just as I kind of got into CrossFit, they were getting bigger, and they provide a platform for all level of athletes. So there's 4 categories, or there was 4, there's now 3 categories. And it's everyone from the gym beginner or someone who just enjoys going to the gym, they're not hugely competitive, up to more elite level athletes. So Chloe S. Ralph, who's mine and Kyle's coach, she's competed in the top category there before. So it's really the breadth of athlete. There is no barriers to anyone competing, and at all different levels of the competition there's always scales available. I know of a couple of adaptive athletes as well that have competed at Rainhill Trials, and it's just a really homegrown, friendly, brilliant CrossFit competition, and it brings people from all over the country. I mean, I'm very local to it, so I've always gone, I'm either judging or competing. That's when I meet people in CrossFit, they're like, oh, you're the girl who's always at Rain Hill, you're the girl who's always judging or competing. So it's just something for everyone in the CrossFit community in the UK to get involved in, whatever level they are. They've also brought in pairs competitions, which Kyle competed in last year, and a team competition as well. So they're trying to, and they do masters competitions too. Even though masters can enter Rainhill Trials, they've now got masters specifics pairs competitions. So they're just trying to be really inclusive of absolutely everyone. So you can have really competitive guys who are heading towards being elite and sanctioned level athletes to, you know, your
Me.
Kyle. That's not what I was gonna say. But it just covers everyone, and I've competed in the different categories, and I've climbed up them and I've gone back down them, but I've always felt welcome to be there. And it's not really based on your ability, it's just having fun, and there's always the same faces, the same people judge and compete, and the DJ's always the same, Zach Wild, who's incredible, and all the stalls as well, like just meeting people from all over the country. So it's a really good CrossFit competition, I think.
It really does bring the community in CrossFit out. You can turn up to the Rainhill Trials and know no one and leave with such a vast network of friends. Even when competing, you know when you get on that competition floor that you are head to head with the person that you have just been laughing and joking and sharing a brownie with. It's just so much fun. And anyone there will do anything for you as well. You come away after that weekend, and I think I speak for I think everybody that leaves the Rainhill Trials after a weekend, and you're sad. You are genuinely upset because it feels like you're just leaving your family.
Yeah, definitely.
How long is that, the event? Is it a whole weekend event?
Yeah, so it's from Friday to Sunday. So the 3 categories compete on each day. So if you're competing, you just compete for the one day. But most people like me will go for the weekend and be at every day, either competing or judging, or as we were in March, 2 weeks before lockdown, we had the Be Defiant store. So we were there all weekend as well, which was great, just to meet loads of different people and kind of talk about what Be Defiant is and why we're different to most other, just clothing companies. We've got the message behind it as well. So, but yeah, I've made an awful lot of friends at Rainhill, and it's like going home every time I go back. So I've really missed it this year because everything's been cancelled.
I bet. It seems like it's a very similar event to the Waterpalooza we have here in the States. It's a full weekend, awesome, just fitness event where everyone's coming together and just sharing the same mentality, the same message. And again, like you said, the camaraderie that's there. You know, you're competing with someone that's you've probably never seen before in your life, but at the end of the weekend, you guys have become friends and you will end up talking with each other for who knows, probably the rest of your life. So that's a great, and again, that's where one of the things we want to focus on with the Better Together podcast is the mental health aspect of the fitness world. So how has you training now and changed your mindset from it being that your main goal is to be on that elite level to training because you enjoy it so much? How has that affected your mental health with fitness?
I think it's a hard one to answer really succinctly, I think, but for me, when I don't train, I really notice a difference in my mood. So I'm diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and there is a huge difference in both of those when I consistently don't train. And being able to just go to the gym, shut off for an hour, I don't have to worry about anything else other than picking the bar up or going for a run or jumping on the air bike. I don't have to think about anything else, and it really does elevate my mood and it calms my anxiety and it just makes me feel better about myself. And I think also in recent weeks, probably rather than in recent months, with lockdown, I've put quite a bit of weight on, which I think a lot of people have, and I've been really struggling with how I now look. I look very different to how I used to look, just because I'm a bit bigger. But training in CrossFit especially, it's taken the focus away from how I look. Yes, I'm a bit bigger, I've got stretch marks, I carry a bit more weight, but I can still lift a 55 kilo bar and put it over my head. I can still deadlift 70, 80 kilos. I can still run 200 meters at a reasonable time. So it's shifting away from I have to be super skinny, which I actually posted on my Instagram just last week or this week even. A difference in 5 years being on holiday with my parents. I've just come back from being on holiday with them, and 5 years ago I was quite unwell looking. I was extremely thin, had like a really gaunt face and shadows, and now I am bigger, but I'm so much happier. Like when I smile it reaches my eyes rather than just I'm so happy. So I think it helps with body image as well, in taking away from how my body looks. It's what I can do, and that's all I can ask for, really.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, just touching on that subject as a whole, then, Karen, how has your mindset shifted between when you were pushing yourself to be at your most competitive to now when you are training for the love of training? Like, what's different to you in terms of your mindset there?
So previously, I trained because I had to. I had to train twice a day because that was what was in my program. I had to train on my lunch breaks because I had to. I had to be really strict with what I was eating. I went 7 weeks once without any sugar, any processed sugar passing my lips. And I was so restrictive in what I ate. I wouldn't allow myself any cheat days. I wouldn't allow myself any room to kind of enjoy food. It was, this is what the plan is and this is what I have to do and I have to stick to it, regardless of whether it's, I'm going on holiday or going out with my friends. I have to stick to it. And I had to be conscious of how much I weighed and what I looked like because I wanted to look this certain way. Whereas now, I am mindful of what I'm eating, but if I want to get a takeaway on a Saturday night and have a bottle of wine with my boyfriend, that's what I'm going to do because I enjoy doing that. And I train in the week to kind of allow myself to do that. And I'm also now, I'm not under any illusions that I'm ever going to be as fit as I was because I just don't want to make that sacrifice. And some people do, but I don't, because it just did not make me happy. I was a very unhappy, competitive person, and I've had friends actually say to me, I didn't like you when I met you because you were so, I've won this and I'm gonna do this and I'm doing this next, and it was just all about competing and how good I was rather than what what I actually am as a person and what I can offer to people. So it's shifted hugely for me in that I just think I'm a nicer person to be around, and I'm not as like, well, I can't drink because I'm something special, or I can't have chocolate because I'm an athlete. I'm like, I work hard in the gym, so I'm going to eat the chocolate and have a glass of wine if that's what I want to do.
And sort of looping back to the Rainhill trials, Lou, that level of training is absolutely what they're trying to include in their competition. So you can be the everyday athlete. You can have a weekend on the wine and the chocolate and do what you like, rest, put your feet up, you know. You can train sporadically, it doesn't really matter. But you can turn up to the Rainhill trials and you can have a great time.
Yeah.
You know, you can come away feeling accomplished, along with, again, a whole new network of friends, and a brand new experience under your belt, you know?
Exactly.
Because surely that's what this is all about. It's all about getting as many of those experiences as you can under your belt, so you can say, I like that, or I didn't like that, but I tried it, you know? I had that chance for growth there, and I took it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that really, and again, being overall fit is, like you said earlier, it's such a different meaning for so many different people, depending on where they're at in their life, depending on what their overall goals are. But it's really that balance. You know, it's really being able to balance out, yeah, I train really hard, but I also enjoy having a little bit of a good time with family and friends. And then again, it's as long as we're able to balance those out, neither is right or wrong. It's really what makes sense for you as a person as a whole, and how you're portraying that to your friends, because you're probably, I guarantee that now what you're portraying to your close friends and the people that know you now is so much more positive than what it was portraying before. And then vice versa, there's other people that they love the 2 times a days, they don't want to touch the food in the weekends to ruin, but again, they have a different goal set in mind, and that's what works for them. That's what works for their mental health, and that is totally fine. That's why it's so good that you found what works for you, and now you're owning it, and you're putting it into your daily life, day in and day out, and you're a much better person because of it.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. And it is that balance of, I know people through CrossFit who do train twice a day and they hit their macros every day and they look shredded and they look incredible. And I'm like, more power to you. But I know now in reflection, it's very easy for me to get in cycles of disordered eating and disordered training and not enjoying life anymore, and just thinking I have to train and I have to do this. And if I have a week off, like I've just had a whole week off training, 5 years ago, that would have destroyed me. I wouldn't have known kind of what to do, because I would have thought, well, all that hard work is gone. Whereas now I'm like, yeah, I had a week off, it was great, and I'm going to go back to the gym tomorrow and it'll hurt, but it'll be fine.
Right, exactly. Now you have that nice balance, and it's kind of part of us as growing. You know, we're learning what is too much of this, what's too much of that. You know, and not just overtraining physically, but overtraining mentally. You know, it takes a toll. It does. It takes a toll on our mind. And it's funny because I was just talking about this to one of my good friends, Mary Francis, about this, where she she loves going to the gym, and that's her disconnect. You know, her going to the gym and lifting is like what you said a little bit ago. That's her. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna leave it all at the door. I'm gonna lift some weights. That's all that matters right now. And then you recharge. But then she also does have the occasional pizza. You know, and it has not ruined anything. It's actually made her an even better athlete because she's finding her balance. Yeah. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I just jumped in. So I was just going to say, it just proves to you, though, doesn't it? You can have too much of something that you enjoy, regardless of what that is, even if that's fitness. You know, I want to create my own headspace in the gym. You can overdo that. It can get to the point where actually that thing that you enjoy becomes the thing you use to punish yourself.
Yeah. And it becomes a chore, and you have to do it rather than you get to do it. And I think that again is a big shift for me. I now see it as I get to do this, because I was very sick last year, and there is every chance I would not be able to do this now. So that's also changed my mindset, that now I get to go to the gym and my body lets me and is healthy enough to let me do the thing that I really love doing when it could so easily have been taken from me. So that's also a shift.
Absolutely is. Yeah, that's a great point, Kyle, about that shift, and also what you said about the getting to do it versus, oh, I have to rest. Think of it more like, I worked so hard, I get to rest this day, and then when you're ready to go, all right, I get to go train really hard again. And that's absolutely true. That saying those words, I think, will absolutely change the mindset of that, what's coming next. Instead of just thinking it like, oh, great, I don't want to rest, but I have to rest. It's like, no, I get to rest because I put in so much good work, and then you don't want to do the overtraining. Absolutely, that's really good. I like that.
It's focusing on the outcome, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's, if you're forever thinking, oh, these 2 days rest or this day's rest is going to be a waste of time, I should be in the gym, I should be doing this work, what you forget is that day's rest or that 2 days rest is going to mean that when you go back on Monday or when you go back the next time, you're ready to hit it running.
Yeah.
You've had that time for your body to recover, for your mind to recover. Because CrossFit is one of those things, there are so many things that you have to learn. And then once you've learned them, you've got to keep them up. It's not a case of, that's in the bank, I'll hang on to that. No, it doesn't work like that, does it? I went into to do double unders the other day for the first time in like 3 weeks. And I got 4, whipped myself, tripped, and nearly threw a paddy in the middle of the gym. Like, this is not fair. I worked on these so hard in lockdown, and now I can't do 5. But, luckily, persisting with that, I managed to get decent sets back. But it was one of those things, it's like, it's not like riding a bike.
Yeah,
you lose
definitely
it
not.
so quick.
Absolutely. The repetition.
So I don't know how much you know of this, Lou, but Karen touched on a really big point a minute ago. Dead casually, just blew it over. She was seriously ill. Was it last year, Karen?
It was last year, so it was actually 2 days after Kyle asked me to be part of the Be Defiant family. So Friday night, I was sat watching telly, talking to Kyle on Instagram, and he said, I'd love for you to be one of our athletes. And I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing. I was smashing my training. I was feeling really good. And then 2 days later, I was rushed into hospital, rushed into A&E, and I had sepsis. And I was in hospital for 5 days. And only just kind of in the last few months have I started to feel completely better from it. I still suffered from some of the symptoms for quite a long time after. And I remember I text Kyle on like the Monday morning. I was like, if you don't want me to be an athlete, it's fine. I understand. Like, I'm not going to be training for a while. And thankfully he was having none of it, and here we are.
That's
so
awesome. I can only imagine how that affected you as a whole, as a person. Because
it was
I can't even imagine. Yeah, how, like, what were your thoughts during that time?
It was really terrifying, and I do, as Kyle just said, I touched on it really lightly and quite blasé. That's how I am about it. I jokingly call it a touch of sepsis, because if I allow myself to think about it too much, I get a bit, oh God, no, I could have actually been a lot more unwell. And I was just lucky that everything that happened on that Sunday afternoon happened in the right way. So basically I woke up from an afternoon nap, because I'm 70 years old and I like to have afternoon naps. And I woke up, I was fine when I went to bed, like when I went to sleep, and I woke up and I was full body convulsing, couldn't control any aspect of my movement. And I felt ice cold. I've never felt that cold in my life. So I bundled myself up and I thought, I'm just coming down with a cold. I'll try and sleep it off. And after about an hour, it just wasn't working. So I rang my mum and somehow managed to say to her, I need help. I live on my own and I live an hour away from my family. So yeah, ringing her and saying, I don't know what's wrong. And she also used to be a nurse, so she's my go-to for any medical things. And I hope she will admit this because she's told me, but she thought I was being a little bit dramatic because, as Kyle knows, I am a bit dramatic. I have a propensity to be a little bit dramatic about things and a little bit over the top. So my mum was like, oh, fine, I'll come and see you. And she actually brought, my mum's a big knitter, she brought her knitting with her because she thought she'd just put me to bed and she could sit doing her knitting. But she got round after about an hour, took one look at me and was like, Car, we're going to hospital. I live 5 minutes away from a major hospital, thankfully. So yeah, she got me to hospital. I collapsed outside the A&E department and kind of had to be rushed in. She was happy because we didn't have to wait in the waiting room. I got straight through the doors, so she was like, yeah, this is great. And yeah, I was not happy because I had a really nice pair of Stance socks on and they took them off me and I was really upset. I was like, they're my favourite socks in this kind of weird time of delusion and a 40.4 degree temperature. I was like, I want my socks back. And was in a lot of pain as well, so I was being quite vocal. And then next thing I know, I was waking up in what I thought was a side room, sort of coming to, and I had like blinds everywhere and IVs in and the pads on my heart and everything. And I said to my mum, I was like, oh, have they put me in here because I was being too loud? And she's like, no, this is the resus bay. Like, you are really sick. My heart rate was, I think, somewhere near 120. And I was just lying there. My temperature was 40.4. Another couple of points of degrees higher and I would have started having seizures. So yeah, I was quite unwell, but I was a bit oblivious to it because I was just so unwell. And then yeah, I was admitted onto the ward for 4 days. But so I've worked in medical research, clinical research with the NHS, so our healthcare system in the UK, for 8 years. And the first doctor I saw on the ward was a professor that I've worked with for years. And I was sat there in a gown, my hair was sticking up, I was yellow, I was just in a little bit of shock. And I just saw his head peep round and he was like, hiya. I don't have to be your doctor, but this is my ward. I was like, please don't leave me. Stay.
I'm sure you felt so much more comfortable because you knew him.
Yeah, I've always said I'll never be treated by any of the professors I've worked with, but as soon as I was in that position, I was like, don't go. I need help. So yeah, so I was in there for 4 or 5 days and they never really got to the root cause of what happened, but they think it was a kidney infection. But I had no signs of the kidney infection. So they actually think my fitness counted against me because I was so fit and healthy. My body just kind of masked it, almost like, we'll deal with this. You carry on. And then it just got to the point where the infection got into my blood and my body just went, can't do this anymore, and kind of made me stop what I was doing. So yeah, that was an experience.
Wow. I mean, to say the least, yeah. I mean, and really, thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that could not have been easy to relive that and just kind of think through the things. But just know that you sharing that journey is going to help a lot of people that have dealt with some type of similar issues and understand that they're not the only ones dealing with that, and that they can come out on top like you have.
Yeah, definitely. It was really hard, but it's made me also appreciate what I do have. And I ended up making an awful lot of changes to my life after that. I no longer will tolerate toxic people or people who don't make me feel good. And I will actively remove myself from situations if I don't feel it's serving me, because life is just too short. And I found I was putting a lot of energy into friendships and relationships that were not mutually beneficial. So I've removed that from my life and I now focus on people who actually care about me and who I care about. And that might only be 10 people, but they're my 10 people. But yeah, it was an experience, to say the least.
I can only imagine. Absolutely, it must have been. It really was. And I mean, I guess Kyle's done good because he's still people you're sticking around with. So I guess he's doing pretty good, right?
Only just.
He's on
I
the
think,
low 10.
yeah. I'm like number like 9.5.
Mhm.
I think Karen just tolerates me more than anything. Like without Karen, I would be wall to wall with tasks. So
That's very true.
let's
I
talk
run
I
Be
about.
Defiant.
love that you owned it.
Well,
There you go.
it's the truth, isn't it? So
Okay, sorry. So about Be Defiant, Karen, what do you do for Be Defiant? For
What
people that
don't I do is probably
are we
the
gonna
better
have to make like
question.
a second part to this
Yeah.
podcast? Or?
So officially, I am the advocate and athlete coordinator. So I look after our 70 plus advocates and our 17 athletes at the moment. That's kind of the official role, which was basically, I think it's coming up to about a year ago. I could just see that Kyle was overwhelmed with the amount of tasks he had to do, and I could see where he wanted to go with things, but he had no headspace to even think ideas through. So I just kind of said, look, if you need any help, let me know. Happy to help where I can. And then that's kind of evolved into I don't know. So I look after all the athletes and the advocates, helping to develop that program, and then just kind of jumping on to other things to try and make Kyle's life a bit easier, or to refine ideas, because Kyle has so many ideas and it's absolutely amazing. But sometimes I have to go, wait.
Not yet.
We have to think about these 10 things before we do that one thing. But we'll get to it.
I'm always running off like, oh look, something shiny, I've got to go over there and have a look. And Karen's like, got me by the reins. No, come back over here.
That's it. That's definitely it.
So yeah, like
just hold back a little bit.
The idea was actually that Karen was going to look after the athletes and the advocates, because those guys do so much for the brand. They are at the heart of what we do, because they are the people that the brand revolves around. Anyone can be an advocate. All they do is they hop onto the website and they jump onto the Become an Advocate form. And an advocate is someone that just positively advocates mental health. And you don't have to be involved in fitness. You don't have to be shouting it from the rooftops. It's just something that you do in your own way, and you do it because you want to do it. It's a passion. It's something that you love doing. It's something that you're aware of. You're familiar with what mental health is, or you want to be familiar with what mental health is. It can be something that you want to learn more about. You want to surround yourself with this group of people that want to look out for you and others. And yeah, the guys are just so amazing. Like, I can't believe we're at over 70.
Yeah.
And we've got a closed Facebook group they're part of, and there is always something kicking off in there. It's brilliant. And there's always an idea kicking around. Someone's always hit a PB, or they've done something in their personal life that they want to share with everyone, and everyone's so supportive, and there's so much love, in general. And I don't think that the athletes of Be Defiant actually realize that these guys look up to them as well. Like, these are people that go to the gym, or they're out there running in all weathers. I think Simon Grace ran a few weeks ago, and the after photo looked like he'd been in a swimming pool fully clothed. And I think in the caption it had said that he'd been drenched by puddles and wagons about 3 times or something. But he was like, it's okay, I was wet anyway, Like, just got this amazing attitude. So yeah, that was basically what I asked Karen to do, and now she just basically makes sure that I do everything, is the truth. Between Karen and Pete, they're basically just giving me a nudge every day, like, hey, have you done the things you said you were going to do? And I'm usually like, no.
Kyle's favourite one to do, I have to say, is he'll text me or voice note me and say, oh, where are we up to on this particular task? And I'm like, will you please read your emails? I sent you an email 3 days ago.
Yeah, guilty as charged.
I'm so familiar.
Yeah. Or I send a voice note and I walk off and I go, I'm sure I had that conversation yesterday. And the next one I get back is, don't you listen to anything I send you.
And that's why I think that's why you and I get along so well, Kyle, because we have a lot of the same stuff kind of going on in our mind, and we're always just voice noting and like, oh, dude, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, and then the whiteboard is just we needed to put the thoughts out on paper in a sense, because if not, we'll forget it.
Yeah,
And it was
definitely.
such a good idea. It's like, oh man, what was that about again? And
Yeah.
it's gone, you know. But yeah, that's really, you're very fortunate to have Karen on your team, and just keep giving her whatever she needs, because
Oh, yeah, I do. Don't you worry about that. Sometimes Karen's like, I'm going to leave, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. Ever,
please
never,
don't,
ever.
go.
So,
No, I do. I'm genuinely, though, I do have to say, I'm never nice about Kyle or to Kyle, because that's just not how I really am with anyone. But it is an absolute pleasure to work with, not just work with Kyle. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he is like my best friend. He's been there for me through so much. Always supports me, is just always kind of there for me, and to be such a big part of Be Defiant and to really help push the message of the brand and be so involved, it's an absolute pleasure. And just by people knowing my involvement in it, they then ask questions, and I then get to have the conversations to say we advocate for mental health. And the number of conversations I've had with, you know, my own family members and friends where they've gone, oh, I suffer with XYZ, or I didn't realise that was, you know, something I could get help with, or whatever it might be. And I feel really privileged to be able to be part of a brand and a family that openly discusses it. I'm just so glad Kyle kind of let me become involved, because this is so far removed from my day job that I feel like Kyle took a bit of a gamble on me, like being involved, but I'm so privileged.
yeah, it really is. It's a great thing to be a part of. Absolutely is.
it comes back to your circle, right? Like the people that you surround yourself with, yeah?
Yeah.
The people that I talk to, the people that I surround myself with, are the people that I want in my life because they make me better. In fact, I think I've had this conversation not an hour ago with someone on Instagram, someone that I've never met, you know, and it's a case of the people that are around me because I want them to be. Touching on your earlier mention of toxic relationships, Karen, and removing yourself away from them. The people that I put around myself, I look at them as people that I aspire to be like, you know, people that inspire me, people that make me want to get out of bed in the morning because what's that person doing today? You know, or like, how can I be like that person today? What would Lou do in this situation? You know, when I'm looking at the barbell in the gym and I'm thinking that I'm never going to make this next set in this EMOM, I think to myself, Karen would crack on with it. You know, I think about any of the athletes that are part of Be Defiant and think they wouldn't be shying away from work now. You know, they'd have their head down and they'd be steaming on through this. But that's what it is. It's the people you surround yourself with. The 70 plus advocates of Be Defiant are all people that inspire me daily.
Yeah, the advocates are
incredible
people. So, like, I'm so privileged to be able to work with all of them and kind of have that interaction with them. I mean, even I posted before I went on holiday last week, just I'm off on my holidays, guys, but you know, I'll be around if you need anything. They're like, oh, have a great time. And it's just that was really nice to kind of get that back from them, and everything we say to them, they accept it so well, and are so kind of grateful to be part of it. So I feel very lucky to kind of look after them and work with them all.
Yep. And it's crazy how you said about the people we surround ourselves with. When we start meeting other people we've never thought we'd meet before, because I talked with Kyle about this I think it was like a few weeks ago, that we're at this point right now because of one decision that I made a year ago to say yes with my friend Susanna to go to battle cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I met Chloe, you know, Scott Britz, Freya, Simon, like all these, and then they trickled to meeting other people, and then that trickled to meeting Kyle, and then that trickled to everything that's been created from that one decision of being surrounded by people that are like-minded. You know, my cousin passed away in his 20s of cancer, so that's why battle cancer is such a huge part of what I want to be a part of. And then by instead of just not doing anything about it, but actually wanting to get out and help a great cause and make grow more awareness, now we're here, you know,
Yeah.
and all because of one little decision that to keep in the same circle of people that are like-minded. So it is. It's a beautiful thing that once you put yourself out there and you put that positive energy out there, you will begin to grow that group of people because they're all in that same mindset. And then the ones that aren't, not that they're bad people, but you're just not in the same mindset. So you just kind of like weed out of that
Yeah.
type of people. And then, you know, they'll have their groups and that's fine. But you want to be more with people that have the same mindset, that want to do more, that want to be advocates of a cause that they're very passionate about. And then, yeah, then you get to meet great people that are just needing more people like them to
Yeah.
continue to grow things and to continue to move forward. So yeah, it's absolutely, it's a great, it's a great thing to keep that mindset together. Yeah.
Definitely.
So what do you use to fight away negative thoughts now? And how does that impact your progress?
So, so I'm actually coming to the end of a 16-week intensive therapy course. So I've been having one-to-one therapy with a very, very lovely therapist. I'm very lucky where I live that we have a very good mental health system. It's called Talk Liverpool, and I'm not sure what happens in the rest of the UK, I'll be totally honest, but they provide so much support for everyone through the NHS. And the best part about them is you can self-refer. So I know from my own experience and from other people's, going to your doctor and saying, I feel this way, I feel anxious, I feel depressed, I'm having really dark thoughts, that can be really overwhelming. But with Talk Liverpool, you can just fill a form in and someone will ring you, and they don't know who you are, you don't know who they are, and you can remove yourself from it. So I've been involved with that service for about 3 or 4 years now, 3 years I think. So after I got out of an abusive relationship, I started having therapy with them. I then had another session, another course of therapy after I got sick, and then I was referred for this individual high intensive therapy, which has changed my life completely, I have to say. Who I am now versus who I was even in March when it started, I've now got the tools and the backing information for me. So I've actually got my last session next Thursday, which I keep texting Kyle about, like, oh, it's my last session, I don't know what to do. But it's just changed my mindset about everything completely. And I still have, you know, dark days, I still get bouts of anxiety, I still get bouts of depression, but I know how to manage it. And it's also made me even more willing to be open about stuff and to talk about what I've been through, and, you know, to share my experiences, because there will be someone that I will come across that feels like they can't talk about it, or they shouldn't talk about it, or there's some reason why they don't want to talk about it. So I think, well, if I can talk about it and they hear it, that might help them, even if just for a second they go, I'm not the only one. So therapy is a big part of keeping my head in the right place and surrounding myself with people who love and care about me and who I know will be there for me, like Kyle. And I've got a really good group of friends around me, and I've now got a very lovely boyfriend as well. Good. Who I'm still excited about having a boyfriend. It's lovely.
Good. You should be.
Yeah, he's amazing, absolutely amazing. He actually ordered a Be Defiant top while I was away and didn't tell me because he wanted it to be a surprise.
That's awesome.
So
I mean,
sweet.
those are those little things that matter. You know, he pays attention.
Yeah.
You know, he knows what you like, and is trying to do things that he knows will make you happy. And that's as simple as a t-shirt. It doesn't have to be anything crazy.
No.
It's those little things that matter.
That's it. And it's, yeah, surrounding myself with those people. And as well, it's being open with, especially with my family. I didn't tell anyone in my family my diagnosis until I had to, and that's because I was in hospital and they were talking about admitting me and I didn't have my medication with me, which sent me in a whole spiral of, I need my medication, I can't not take my medication, I need my medication. And my mum was like, what medication? And that started that conversation. So now I'm very open with my mum especially, mainly because my dad and my brother don't really talk about stuff too much, but my mum especially, I'm very open and say, I've just had therapy and this is what we've talked about and this is what we've gone over. And just having that open communication with people, and I think it does allow them to have it vice versa. I can be there for them a lot more because they feel more comfortable talking to me, I think, as well. So yeah, it's but then it's also, it's doing things I enjoy, which has just been spending a week in a forest with my mum, dad and 3 dogs, which was amazing. My first holiday in over 2 years, and going out with my friends, or just sitting watching Netflix, having a glass of wine, ringing Kyle and annoying him over FaceTime. That makes me happy most of the time.
It's awesome, but it's true, and the fact that you have chosen to go to therapy, and anyone that needs it, look, if you're in the UK, talk Liverpool. That's Look them up, see how they can help you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have gone to therapy is a great point you brought up, that you've learned how to deal with those emotions, where if you didn't do the therapy, obviously we kind of implode, because we don't know how to deal with these emotions. We don't know why they're coming. And then that leads to more things like depression and isolation, which is the worst thing you can do. So the fact that you've gone and educated yourself on these situations, and now you can talk to other people, that's how you're kind of creating that domino effect, where now more people understand, more people also will want to act and not feel like they're weak because they're getting help, but know that they're going to be stronger because they're getting help, because they'll know how to now, like you said, talk to family about it in an educated way, not just not just in a sense saying, oh, I feel horrible and this is what it is, and then lock yourself in a room. That's not going to help anyone at all. That's going to actually make people worry even more. But again, I was talking to Mary Frances about this also last week. It was about, there was a kid that went to in her classroom. He's gone through a lot of stuff, right? And he ended up telling her, hey, I saw you laughing about my drawing, and that hurt me. That made me feel bad. But she explained why she was laughing, because she thought it was so clever that just made her giggle. But the fact that kid had gone to therapy, he knew how to express how he was feeling to her in a educated way. And this kid's in 2nd grade. So I mean, to be able to have that good help from a good therapist that understands how to explain what we're feeling, and that allowed that kid to, instead of throwing a tantrum and going running home to his parents and be like, oh, my teacher made fun of me, I hate school now, I don't want to go anymore, and who knows where that would trickle down to just owning it and going straight up to the person and saying, hey, I didn't like that, I just want you to know, whatever. And then you explain it and it's over and you move on. So that to me is the beauty of going to therapy, to understanding your thoughts and understanding how to work through them and all that. So that just it goes to show, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, everybody needs some form of help in some way. So just now that we know it's out there, and this is what this is about, isn't it? This is about
sharing that information.
And I think as well, for me, it took the blame off me for how I felt about things. And as I've touched on, I was in an abusive relationship for 9 months that culminated in threats on my life, basically, and that had a huge impact on me. It still impacts me now, but I wouldn't talk about it for a long time because I felt ashamed that I'm I'm not going to say very successful, that's quite big-headed, but, you know, I've got a really good career, I've got amazing friends, I've got brilliant family, and I still was taken in by this person who started to control every aspect of my life. And I was so ashamed of that, because I'd allowed that to happen and allowed him into my life, whereas actually going through therapy, it was, that's not your fault, this is all on him. Like, he manipulated you, he controlled you, that's his issue. And now I've worked through it and I'm a lot more able to talk about it. So even with my new relationship, to be like, this has happened, I might get funny about some things because it's just, that's how my brain now works, but it's actually led us to be a lot closer than I think we could have been, because I've been able to say I've been through this. And he's like, Johnny's amazing, and he's just said, that's what you've been through. I said his name. Hi, Johnny.
See, he's a real person.
He's a real person.
He exists, yeah.
He's not a figment of your imagination. That's good.
Well, who knows? He might be. No one else has met him yet. So
Not true. It's real. It's on Instagram. I've seen it.
It is on Instagram.
Yes.
So a couple of things then. Like, therapy is not the end, right? Therapy is, when people think of therapy, they think of therapy as the last resort, the ditch effort.
So true.
Therapy is talking about it. Yeah, whatever it may be, therapy is talking about it. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So,
very therapeutic.
Well, you know, but so taking that first step into talking to a therapist it's not something that's serious. Like, no one's going to write you off because of that. You know, it doesn't damage you as a person because you want to talk to someone, or you need to talk to someone about how you feel.
Yeah.
But do you think, Karen, it's just as important that the therapist that you go to see is someone that you, I won't say click with, but there needs to be a connection between you and that therapist to understand you as a person, yeah? Definitely.
And I was really lucky that my first therapist, my intensive sessions, was someone who I had an affinity with, is that the right word? We're quite close in age, and we've had some similar experiences, and I felt comfortable from the first session to talk openly with her. I was really lucky. But, you know, that being said, they do kind of say, if it doesn't work for you, if the particular person it's just not a good fit for you, then say, and they can find, you know, they will find you someone else. And I think it is really important, because I started to look forward to therapy. I was like, oh, I get to talk to Laura today, because we could just talk normally and she would pull things out rather than me feeling like I had to say stuff. Most of the time we just talked about what I'd done in the week and she'd pull little bits out of there. But yeah, it definitely helped that we are close in age, and had some similar experiences, and she could understand what I was going through in a better way than I think, I don't know, like a 50-year-old man could have done, because she's a young woman as well. And I say young, I'm 32. Am I still young?
Still young. 32
still
years
young.
I'm 41, so I think I'm still young. So yes, you're a baby.
Yeah, still young.
I think Lou's going backwards there. I think he used to be 42, so he's now 42. Making his way back down the ladder.
That's right.
But no, I do think I was ashamed at first, not ashamed, I was a bit embarrassed because I'm in therapy, but now I talk about it really openly because it has really helped me. And it's to the point now where I'm starting to look at coming off medication that I've been on for years. And I remember last year, me and my doctor talked about maybe changing my medication, which would involve weaning off the medication I'm on and going on to another one. And I had a panic attack in the doctors because I thought, you cannot take this away from me, because this is how I get up in the morning and this is how I get through the day. Whereas now I'm like, yeah, I want to start coming off it. I want to not have to use it anymore. And that's through having therapy. And just, I now feel able to deal with life changes when they come at me, whereas it seemed to be every time I was back on my feet, something had knocked me back over. So I got out of an abusive relationship and I just started to get back to normal, back to training. I'd started seeing someone new, and then I got sick, and that started a whole new different area of problems. And then I was just getting back up and running. I was traveling with work again, I was training, and then lockdown hit and I just crumbled, and just now I can't do this anymore. So it's come at the right time for me, but now I'm like, if something else happens, I've got tools that I can deal with it.
And isn't that interesting how our mental health can shift to a point to where nothing has changed, in the sense that, like, with the medication, your mental state is so much healthier that you now realize you don't really need to be on the medication you were on. It was your mind was kind of, you weren't in the space to be able to be ready to come off of that.
Yeah.
But after doing the proactive work that you've been doing with therapy and all that, now you're mentally strong to understand that it is okay to be off of it. But instead of being dependent on it, now you know it's just a means to an end.
Yeah.
This is what I have to be on to be okay. Versus
Definitely.
this is what I'm working on now temporarily while I'm getting better. So again, the I get to mentality versus I have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do want to say as well, therapy is really hard work. You only get out of it what you put into it, and it is tough. I had to talk about things I really didn't want to talk about, but the benefit of it was I didn't know my therapist. She has no emotional investment in my life. I could be really open with things and not think I'm going to upset her, she's going to be worried about me. She's like, this is my job, you just tell me. But then the work I had to do after the sessions, and it was quite draining at times, but you put the work in and you get the benefits out of it. I think it's something that you have to keep working at. And after my last session next week, I know that I'm still going to have to put work in, and there will come a point where my mental illness will take over, and that's when I have to put the work in to go, no, I'm not going to go back to where I was. I go back to these steps, and this is what I need to do.
Yeah. You have the tools now.
Yeah.
How to go towards it, dive into it, and basically face it head on.
Yeah.
This is before it would make us crumble, when we had those issues. Absolutely. It's such a powerful, it's empowering. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
To have that, absolutely is. And it's just, it's finding that good, because you're not being judged. Like you said, it's someone from the outside in. That's literally their job. They want you, because they know if they help you 100%, that's going to make them even better at what they do. So they're wanting this information. They want to know, please, I really want you to tell me what's wrong. And it's like you said, it's really up to us, because there's things we've kept inside for so long that we're just not, we want to talk about it, we just don't know how to say the words that we want to say, because our entire life we've learned to just kind of suppress it and leave it in a little box, and then another box and another box, and then that box is inside another box. So we're just like, how am I going to open these things up without this person freaking out and being like, you know what, you need another therapist, I can't do this type thing. So
you're really broken, you need to go somewhere else. And I think as well with therapy, I just talk and she'd pick up on things that I didn't even know I was saying, or I didn't even know was an issue. And she was like, oh, where's this come from? And she could pull those things out where I didn't even realize that was what I was doing. So it's kind of just given me a proper understanding of why I was feeling the way I was. And it's just a lot of stuff I've been able to say, and I've said it, and now I'm like, I don't need to think about that again.
Right.
It's done with, that little box is closed, and now I've got the energy and the space to just be better for everyone around me.
Absolutely. I was same with me. I was in a relationship that it just wasn't the right thing, and all my energy was spent on that, all of it, and it was just draining. It is so draining. And Kyle, you and I talked about that months ago, and as soon as I got out of it and move forward, it was tough because it's something that you're also built with, like, oh, you don't, you don't leave your spouse, you don't do that, this and that. But I'm like, it's not working. It's so draining that I was in that depressive state of mind. And this is something also I've never really ever talked about. I just recently talked about this with one of my other friends on her podcast. And when you really think through it, then and you get done with that negative energy, now you can focus that on something else. And actually that's better for you and your life. So it's definitely, anyone that needs it, please do it.
How crazy is it actually that it takes more energy and more effort to hide how you're really feeling than it does to express that to other people? Because once you've laid it out, once you've told someone, once you've been through that, it's a massive sigh of relief. It's a weight off your shoulders, and you go, why didn't I do this sooner?
Absolutely.
Why have I been hanging on to this for so long? Fighting this for so long. Why didn't I just talk to someone?
And I think it's because a lot of we're kind of predisposed or kind of molded to worry about what everyone's going to think about us and how they're going to judge us, how they're going to portray us as a person. We're like, oh my gosh, he has so many issues. Wow, I got to stay away from him, type thing. Or like sometimes even our family does it unintentionally, because how I grew up, my family grew up where you didn't really, it was just like, you just do it and that's it, end of story. And then you kind of like build that up, and that's your environment, and then you grow to that, and you kind of do that going forward. But absolutely, it's just we just do that to ourselves. We self-sabotage ourselves for years and years, and we're like, oh, I can deal with it, I'll figure it out, or this is just normal, this is how it is, this is how it is.
It'll blow over.
Exactly. Until some massive life event happens to where we really take a big step back and look at everything, and we're like, this is not worth it, this is not okay, this is not normal, I'm supposed to be happy too. Like, it's not just something that you wish is going to happen. If you don't do anything about it, it's not going to happen.
So it comes back to self-care is not selfish, right? But I think a lot of people don't understand what self-care is. Self-care isn't having a foot spa on a Sunday night and your favorite glass of wine. It can be as simple as telling the truth that you need to tell because it's eating at you a little bit. And it doesn't need to be eating at you a lot. If it's festering that tiny bit, you need to get that out there. Have that conversation, tackle that obstacle face on, and turn it into an opportunity. Like, Instagram is perfect for this. How many people, I would love to know how many people have written a post out on Instagram, have attached the image, and have got to the point of posting and gone, I'm not going to post that in case someone doesn't like it.
Yeah, that's what I used to do all the time, and now I just think, I don't really care.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
because
my
Instagram.
My Instagram, and I say quite often in some of my posts, if you don't like what I post, there is a big unfollow button. I am not posting this for you. I'm posting it for me. And if I had 3 followers versus 10,000, but the 3 followers I had loved what I post, that's fine by me.
Absolutely.
And by the same virtue, I unfollow people that I don't like seeing. If it's someone from my past or someone I used to know and I think I actually don't like what you post, or someone whose posts become quite negative, or they're pushing something like an ideal that I don't want to subscribe to, I'm like, I'll just unfollow you. It's nothing personal.
I have really good friends, really good real life friends that I just don't follow on Instagram because the things that they do don't interest me.
Yeah. I have friends who don't do CrossFit and they don't like my CrossFit posts. It's so funny. I'll post a picture of me and my friends, or me and my boyfriend. Sorry, I just need to say that again. And they'll love it. And then I'll post 5 posts of me training. And they're like, nah, I don't care about that. I don't need to see you in the gym.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Absolutely. It's
exactly.
Fine. It's like, I wonder, I don't know when it happened, but where did it happen to where it's like now everything you post has to be okay with all your followers that are there? It's no longer your story. now you have to post things to please everyone in your story, and you're never going to be happy because that's impossible.
Yeah.
Could you imagine all of the beautiful pieces of artwork that we wouldn't have seen if a caveman stood there in his cave with his rock and thought, I'm not going to draw on this wall in case that caveman over there doesn't like it. Like, why do we do this to ourselves? Your social media, and I say this all the time, and it's one of the things I really truly believe in, is for you. Like if you were watching something on television and you didn't like it, you would change the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone is welcome to do that on their own social media. If you don't like what I post, that's cool, and follow me. I won't take it personally.
Yeah.
Because I'm not posting to make you happy. I'm posting because in 6 months' time, I'm going to look back at that and go, wow, my snatch was ropey. Like, I put a lot of technique work into that and I'm a lot better. It's for me. It's for my own personal reasons.
It is. It's like your little journey. It really is.
Yeah.
And if someone else takes something from it, great. But if you don't take something from it, I'm sorry, I was being a little bit selfish with that.
Yeah. And again, if you think about that in that sense, because someone said, you know, like, I love this person to death, and they're like, man, I love your post, but you need to stop posting so much about food. And I was like, well, you could just not look at it.
Yeah.
It comes with the territory, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're like, that's something I enjoy. If you don't like it,
I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I like it, and I want to share with people that you can have real food that still looks delicious.
Yeah.
So then it was like, if that to them is me being selfish, actually, isn't your comment being selfish?
Who's got the issue?
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
you're wanting me to not post things I like because you don't like them. That's actually being selfish.
yeah,
So, yeah, it goes.
yeah.
You got to pick and choose, you know.
Yeah, I've had people ask me why I post so much about like how I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, or especially at the moment I'm posting a lot about body image. Like I was saying before, my body's changed a lot, so I'm kind of embracing it by putting it out there and not trying to hide it because it looks different, and it's kind of helping me process it. And people are like, do you have to post so much about that? Like, it's quite heavy. And I'm like, well, just don't look at it. Like, if you don't like something, don't follow it, don't look at it. Like Kyle said, change the channel, go and look at someone with a six-pack. That's fine.
All of this starts with a perspective shift, right? So there was a time in all of our lives that we fell into that trap, that we were posting things for other people. I am so guilty of that. It's only maybe been this year that I've started, I guess, since Be Defiant. I had the conversation with, I think it was Pete the other day. I can't ask people and tell people it's okay to talk about mental health, to share their fails, to post real things, and not do it myself. Like, I'm not saying Be Defiance forced me to do that, but it was a great catalyst, to be honest with myself. You know, it was the perfect opportunity. And actually, once you've stepped over that boundary, once you've made that leap, it's not that scary.
No.
And it's not that much of a problem. You know, and actually you are received so much better because people know when you're being genuine. People know when it's your highlight reel. Scroll through someone's Instagram. If it's all PBs, you know that, you know, that's probably not a standard training session. But I think it's super important to remember that a lot of people will look at Instagram or Facebook or TikTok and they'll be like, I'm not as good as that person, or I'm not achieving the things that that person is achieving, and completely forget that that is a highlight reel. That is less than 1% of that person's life. You know, to be honest, it's only just real, right? Like, there could be filters on it or whatever. You just don't know. So never compare yourself. You're on your own journey. You know, no one is running your race. People may run alongside you and run the same route, but no one is running your race.
It's a very personal, very, very personal journey that we have.
Absolutely.
So, Karen, I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Ready?
These are meant to be fun facts about you, okay?
Okay.
So I figured that we could kind of end it up on a positive note and just give people some few tips and things that you use to help you. So what are your books, your top 2 books that you like to read that help you with your mental health and just overall well-being?
Oh, that's a big one. I tend to switch between books an awful lot. But a book I'm reading at the moment is Untamed by Glennon Doyle, I think the author is. And it was recommended to me by someone I follow on Instagram. She's called Reevy Jane. She's an Australian, was CrossFitter, and now she's just this lifestyle blogger. She's incredible. And it's all about how we get stuck in this trap, like we've just been talking about, of people pleasing, and how to stop pleasing others and start pleasing yourself. And it starts off with a story about a cheetah in a zoo racing a black Labrador, and the cheetah seems really happy, but it's like, no, you're a cheetah, you shouldn't be caged and in this thing. So that's one I really enjoy. And one I read last year that I loved was The Unexpected Joy of Being Single, because it really, I was in a phase where I was like, I'm 31 and alone and no one's ever going to love me. And it just flipped all of that on its head of, you get to be who you want to be. And when the right person comes along, you'll be ready.
Yep. That's good. I like that one too. It's true. And it kind of happens without you looking for it. I think those are the best.
Yeah. I was so happy on my own. And then all of a sudden,
yep.
Now look.
I completely understand that. You're just like going about your business, doing your own thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, where did all these feelings? What happened here? Wait, we're dating? What?
So me and Johnny actually went on a date 3.5 years ago. Our 2 best friends, they're married to each other. We went on a date and it just didn't work then. And my best friend Amy was like, do you want to see Johnny again? I was like, yeah, go on. And then here we are.
We are. It's awesome though. But it's very pure and natural and unplanned. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good job, Johnny. We'll meet you. I'm going to try to make it when you guys have the rain games out there. I'm really going to try to go. So I would love to, be a part of that and see how that goes.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right,
we'll definitely get you along to that.
Thanks, brother. So what are your top 3 favorite things to do on your active rest days?
Walking. I love walking, preferably with a dog in tow, but I don't have my own dog at the moment. Just doing nothing. I just like to sit and do nothing, and drink Prosecco.
Sorry, Chloe.
Yeah, I like a little cheeky glass or 2 of wine and just do nothing.
That's fantastic. Yep. That's what matters to you. That's great.
Yeah, that's it.
And what's a final thought you would want to send out to anyone that's listening right now?
Don't be afraid to be yourself. I've spent a lot of years trying to be what other people wanted me to be and thinking that I couldn't be silly and goofy and say what I was thinking, and life's too short. And now I spent an entire week with my parents doing stupid voices, and they were like, we've never seen you this kind of happy. And I think just be who you are. You were born to be unique, so be unique and be who you are. Don't be what other people want you to be or expect you to be, because that's not going to that might make them happy, but you're the star of your own show. So gotta do you.
Show.
Also the star of your show, Kyle, but
Yeah, I feel like backstage. I'm just the sound guy in the back.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. This
is really good though, because it really let us talk through so much.
Yeah.
We were able to talk about your personal journey with everything, with fitness, with mental health, with issues, ailments, just overall everything. Now you're in a healthy relationship, and Johnny better be careful, because Kyle and I are gonna be like your new big brothers, so we're watching each.
I will let him know.
It's just it's a beautiful thing because here we are, thousands of miles apart, but we're having the same exact conversation about mental health. It doesn't.
Yeah,
change.
this is amazing, and it's this is what I love about, I have to say, CrossFit, because that's just what I do, but it's opened up so many doors for me, and just the people that I now have in my life who I might only see once a year, and they're all over the country and now all over the world, to say that I know these people and they're my friends, and it's incredible. Yeah. And I am so lucky to be able to work with Be Defiant, and have met you as well, Lou, because I have a friend in America. That's well cool.
Yep. Whenever and Kyle and I are already planning to do something, to come over to the States and all that. So it's going to be great. It really is.
Yeah.
And to just, again, distance now, especially with technology, distance really is nothing right now.
No excuses.
There are no excuses. It pretty much doesn't even exist. It's as simple as just jumping on this like we did right now.
Yeah.
And having this nice conversation and time with people. So again, thank you so much. And again, talk Liverpool. If you're out in the Exeter area, if you're out in the UK, anywhere, just reach out to them if you need it.
Yeah.
For your top books that we heard, your Untamed and The Unexpected Joy of Being Single. If you need pointers and thoughts about active rest day things, just go for a quick walk. Take your dog if you have one or not. Or
steal a dog? No, don't do that. Don't steal dogs.
Foster a dog. Just do something or just relax. Have a glass of wine. Relax in outside. Just do something. And the best thing I love was just be unique and be who you are. That's great pointers. Absolutely all the way around. So awesome. I want to thank everybody that's tuned into this show. It's a new show that we've put together to hopefully help as many people as possible. So please reach out to us as much as you need to. Kyle, if you want to let them know where they can reach out to us.
Yeah, so they can reach us on Instagram at Be Defiant Clothing Co. They can drop us an email at contact@bedefiantclothing.co.uk that Karen will gracefully pick up.
Yeah.
But I just want to finish on thanking everyone that's listened to this episode, but a special thank you to Karen for everything that you've done as part of Be Defiant to date, and for everything that you've done for me on a personal level, like as a best friend, and just for being you, So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me be involved, Kyle. As I said, this is.
I didn't want you to be. It was all Lou.
It was my idea.
No, I've really enjoyed this. It's been good to just, I don't know, sometimes I just like to talk and get things off my chest. So this has been really good, and it's nice to just catch up with you both as well, because obviously, Lou, you're thousands of miles away, and Kyle, I'm not allowed to come to Derby to see you because of lockdown. So this is quite nice to just kind of connect with people and have those chats, and hopefully it's helped someone out there listening, and they might be able to identify with something and think, oh, sounds like something I went through. And
absolutely. So awesome. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you everyone again for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Bye.
Thanks for checking out the Better Together podcast. Check back for future episodes, and feel free to reach out anytime at www.bedefiantclothing.co.uk and follow us on Instagram at Be Defiant Clothing Co. And always remember, live to progress and be defiant.